Morning, Your Honors. The matter before the court this morning is the case entitled Monica DeCell versus Richard Bynum, case number 24 AP 073. Appellant Richard Bynum is self-represented and is appearing by phone. Representing the appellee, Monica DeCell, is attorney Laura Saval.
All right, Mr. Bynum, can you hear us all right, sir?
Yes.
All right, do you understand you have 5 minutes for your argument?
Yes.
All right, and please introduce yourself for the record, and then you may proceed.
My name is Richard Bynum. I'm DeCell's dad and Kabani's also. Well, like any other day or during the week, we always have some issue with the kids going to school. The kids were home. I went up to get them up for school. Dakari didn't want to go to school. He said he didn't feel good. I told him, I said, well, listen, you were up all night on video games and I heard you. So this happens quite frequently. So I told him, you have to go to school. If the principal or the nurse says that you are sick, then I'll come back and pick you up. Other than that, you have to go to school. So I went back downstairs. Then I came after I gave him a few minutes. I talked to his brother. His brother was there too. His brother's 34 years old. He's older, which helps me out with the kids and stuff. And we went back up. I went back upstairs to see if he was ready to go for school. And his brother also accompanied me. Then the dog came up after us. I yelled at the dog to go back downstairs. I believe that Dakari got upset because he thought I was yelling at Cavani at the time. But I wasn't. I was yelling for the dog to go back downstairs. As soon as I turned around, he jumps up and he charges me. I go to the floor. Both of us go to the floor. His brother grabs him. And we both restrain him. We hold him down because he swung and he hit me. And we both just held him down. And his sister comes upstairs afterwards, and she grabs me by the neck as we were on the ground holding him, thinking that probably we were trying to hurt him, which we weren't. We were just restraining him. Like, this has happened multiple times. After that, we got up. His brother held him down, and I went back downstairs out of breath and everything. And after that, they made phone calls. Grandmother came over and everything and tried to rush him to the hospital. I gained custody of the kids maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And I've had him ever since. The mother's been trying to give him back. She's highly addicted to drugs. A lot of things are going on in her life right now. Arquise, my son, still interacts with the kids and everything. He goes over there and gets them food and everything when there's no food, which that's quite a bit, to help fill the refrigerator and everything. And pretty much that's the moral of the whole story.
All right. Anyone have any questions for Mr. Bynum?
No, Justice Eaton. Thank you.
Oh, I'm all set. Thank you.
All right. Very good then. We will hear from the appellant at this point. And counsel, please introduce yourself and your client, and you may proceed.
Good morning, Your Honors. I'm attorney Laura Saval, and I'm representing Monica DeCell. And the question today before the court is whether or not the lower court abused its discretion when denying Mr. Bynum's motion to reopen. So firstly, there was proper service on Mr. Bynum. Mr. Bynum has not, throughout the proceedings, objected to any defective service. He admitted in the motion to reopen hearing that he received paperwork and was properly served with the notice of hearing, with the temporary restraining order, and with the form how to prepare for your final RFA hearing. On those forms, several times in bold capital letters, it states, if you do not appear, a final order may be granted in your absence. So Mr. Bynum.
Just about, I don't mean to interrupt mid-argument, especially on a 5-minute argument, but wouldn't a fair thing to do in this, under these circumstances, would be to allow him a hearing, in spite of the issues involving the clarity of the service and all the other things that sometimes self-represented litigants make wrong decisions. that affect their cases. I mean, I don't mean they make a decision not to appear that may have long-term consequences to their case.
Well, Your Honor, I think that opens the door to a slippery slope of rehearing any RFA case where a defendant or plaintiff fails to appear after having proper service. So in this state, there are hundreds of RFAs filed yearly throughout the state. There are dedicated RFA blocks to these orders that are, a time crunch. These hearings are set for 15 minutes each, so that way the court can properly hear the plethora of RFAs that are filed every week. So opening that door would not be in the interest of judicial efficiency to allow litigants to just file a motion to reopen because they didn't want to go to a hearing after being properly served. So Mr. Bynum made a legal tactical decision to not appear. Both he and his attorney have admitted that they just didn't think the court would believe Ms. DeCell and that the court wouldn't grant her a final order. And this court has held in several cases, State v. Coveos, Real v. Tudhope, Okemo Mountain v. Okemo Trailside Condos, that Rule 60B is not intended to protect parties from ill-advised tactical decisions. And this was a tactical decision where he assumed the court would not believe Ms. DeCell and therefore would not grant her a final order. He has not stated any reason why he couldn't appear at the hearing. He didn't say he had any personal reasons or professional reasons. He didn't call the court to say he couldn't appear at the time listed. He didn't file a motion to continue. That would rise to the level of giving somebody a second bite at the apple and having a second shot of having their hearing. But just simply not wanting to go to the hearing does not rise to the level of a motion to reopen. And so for those reasons, we ask that you affirm the lower court's decision.
All right, any questions for counsel?
No, Justice Eaton, thank you.
All right, does Mr. Bynum have time remaining?
Appellant has 2 minutes and 23 seconds remaining.
All right, Mr. Bynum, if you have anything that you would like to add at this point, you're welcome to proceed with that.
Yes. I didn't know we were going to be talking about the appearance part. Yeah. So when I got served with the paperwork from Officer Warburn, she told me, this was denied. I believe she's going to go further with things and stuff like that. But this here itself was denied. You don't have to go. Then with the words from Officer Warburn, and I don't miss a case, especially with my kids. There's nothing I've ever missed dealing with this situation right here. And it was like another thing with her trying to get the kids back, and she's on drugs. She's pretty messed up right now. And that's all I'm trying to protect. I'm not trying to stop these kids from being with their mother, but if they're not being protected and being in the right environment, then it's my job as a dad to try to do something about this. And that's all I want. I'm not trying to take and hurt these kids or hurt anything else. I'm just trying to protect them from an environment that they don't need to be in. And that's all. That's it. I'm their dad. I provided a perfect home for them to live in. I own my own home. I have my own business. And these things and these allegations, I believe that were being said that are in the statements, these are not true allegations. For one, it took a whole month before they filed. It took a whole 3 months before they filed charges on me for this. Like, this never happened. I didn't hurt my kids, and I never did. It's just, I think you should get the kids on the stand and have them be able to be questioned. That's what I think in this matter, because I don't think they would lie on the stand. I think that this was all put together through their moms and everything, trying to have a place to live. There's a lot going on with this whole case, and it's just not just this. I want the best for my kids, and that's all I care for, really. Whether they're with me or with the mother. And right now, being with the mother is not a good idea. It's just not. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bynum.
And I'm not a
Thank you,
lawyer. I'm
counsel.
sorry. I'm trying to make all of this come out the right way and everything, but I can't do it like she can.
All right, that's
And I
fine.
apologize.
Thank you, sir. Thank you both. On that, bailiff may call the conclusion of this hearing.
The next hearing for the court is scheduled for 10:30